Good morning, good morning. It's Saturday, June 13th, 2015. And I got, every so often, I think you guys hit that button that says your podcast audience wants more. So I get it often, but I decided that I'm going to do a podcast at your request. And I decided to answer 10 questions from my Ask FN, and I'm going to continue to do that because I can answer it a little bit longer. I can talk through it, and sometimes I get a lot of the same questions, or the questions are kind of in the same vein. So that's what I'm hoping to do. Thank you guys all so much for sharing my podcast. Every week I get a report, and like I remember back in the day when I first started this, I would have like 4 listens a week or 20 listens a week, and now I'm up to almost 70,000 downloads a week. So I know that that's only happening because you guys are sharing, and so I do these for free. I don't get paid. I don't take on advertising. So I just really want for them to just like share, spread whatever questions you have. This is my own sort of act of service. I tweeted something yesterday that said, I think that the purpose of life is to discover or find your gifts and then give them away. And so I don't know. My dad has always felt that I was like ahead of my time or a bit of a visionary. And so I guess I offer a different perspective. And so these answers are just my opinion. They're definitely not law, but I'm going to share my perspective. So here we go. 10 good questions. So the first one is, my leak. I've been on a job for over 16 years as a supervisor. Recently, I was given 3 options to either step down to an associate with a pay cut, apply at another location, or take a severance package, which is a check for $1,318. How disgusting. What would my leak do? It's funny that you ask what I would do versus what you should do. What I would do is that I probably wouldn't stay anywhere for 16 years because that's just who I am. I think that over the course of your career, back in the day, like back in our parents' age, that was a time when you kind of got a job and you stayed there and you died there. I remember I was on this flight, on this plane from Austin, Texas, and I think I sat with this guy that worked for Dell Computers. Is it Dell? One of the, I think it was Dell. And so he had told me that he was like 40 something, and he was a good looking guy, married, family, kids, all that, and had worked at Dell for, let's just say, 16 years or something like that. And so I was like, so what are you like? What do you want to do? What are you going to do? And he was like, so are you asking me, am I going to die here? And I was like, kinda, like, is that what you want to do? And even he understood that, like, sometimes it's easy to get wrapped up in the comfort of where we are, but like if you want to set some goals and keep seeking, I think that as a professional, uh our professional paths don't really shoot straight up to the top. Sometimes I always say it's like a jungle gym. Like some jobs you go across because you just need, it's not going to be more pay or a higher title or whatever, but you want to get this experience under your belt, or you want to work with a certain person or for a certain person. So I have sort of my career path was like that. I never went after money, and I always went after wanting to work for a particular person. So, a job that I took, my first full-time job out of college, the woman that I worked for, it made me who I am today. It's like I had never seen someone with this intense work ethic, and her skills across the board were insane, and she was a person who was willing to invest in me personally. So I didn't get paid much, but she took me and showed me a dermatologist that helped clear my skin up because I had really bad acne. She taught me how to order at restaurants in Beverly Hills because I had no idea. And I definitely was not trying sushi at the time. Like, are you kidding me? There were a lot of things that she exposed me to. So it was never about money for me, and all in what I felt like I wanted to get or learn from the employer or the manager or something like that. So I wouldn't have stayed 16 years. Supervisor doesn't really mean anything. Like, titles are just BS. I hope you know that. Like, they don't mean anything. I own my company. I'm the quote unquote CEO, but I'm also like the punching bag, the janitor, sometimes I feel like the trash person. So don't get wrapped up in like what those titles are. Because if you went and took a job as an assistant for Oprah today, I bet you like you would learn a ton more than you would as a supervisor at another company. So don't look at the title. But what you should do, because this is not about me, is you need to move on. It's like they pretty much are telling you that they're not fooling with you like that. And they are trying to be nice and give you options, but all the options are saying leave. So I don't stay anywhere that I'm not wanted. So I would take my $1,300 and bounce and not look back. Second question. I tend to retreat and lose confidence when I am feeling intimidated or my ideas are being challenged, especially in meetings with executives. What advice would you give someone who struggles with that? I tend to feel like a lack of confidence and being intimidated comes from your lack of knowledge. When you really feel like you know what the hell you're talking about, it's going to be hard for somebody to shoot you down when you're like, I don't really care. This is what I know. And so it's like I have had a time when I was on a conference call. So I'm pretty sure you guys know by now, I've worked with some really large retailers, the largest retailer in the world. And when you're dealing with these really large corporations, you're going to do conference calls with sometimes up to 10 people. And I used to feel like, and this was my own, insecurities, because I felt like these people were better than me and smarter than me because they worked at like some of the biggest companies in the world and they had these educations and backgrounds that I didn't have. But I'm here too. I'm on the call. So if you're in the room, you're there for a reason. So you just have to get secure about the fact that you being in the room means that you're supposed to be there, and knowing that you're supposed to be there, share your ideas. Don't be afraid of your ideas being challenged, because you need them challenged. I want my ideas challenged, because if they can be challenged and they can't be tested, they're bulletproof, then you win. But I'd rather have my ideas challenged in the boardroom than challenged by customers or challenged by something that's going to eventually get me booted or have an effect on my life. So welcome criticism, be open to being challenged, but the intimidation, you've got to stop. And the confidence, be confident. Go into your meetings with your ideas. They're not like set in stone. They're just ideas. And you're like, hey, I want to put this idea out there. And one of my best friends, Ken, who owns Beautiful, I talk about him often. I used to present him with ideas when I used to work with him or for him. And he would shoot them down. And he would say, Myleik, you don't have any bad ideas. They're just ideas that aren't like aligned with my strategy. The ideas aren't bad. They just don't fit, So it's like these ideas that you have may be better for another company, may be better for another day, may be better for another year. So don't think that there's something wrong with them or you because they're being challenged or they're not being welcomed or accepted. That's something that you can work on. Alrighty, question number 3. Myleik, how do I find what I really want to do for a living? I know I want to do more than a 9-to-5 job, but all my hobbies, interests I've tried to do more with have turned out not being what I really want to do. I don't know what drives me. I get this question a lot, and we've even talked about this in the office this week. And I think that sometimes we get so consumed for looking for our passion so far, well, what is this big thing? And it could just be something as simple as the unique way that you wash dishes. There's a business or an opportunity in that. Maybe it's the unique way that you make cookies or donuts, what is this grown-up business? Somebody came up with that. And so I think sometimes the things are very, very simple. The businesses are very, very simple. I love hair products, body products, beauty products. I've had my whole life. I've worked at every single counter, makeup counter, MAC, Lancome, Clinique. I've done it all. And so I think over the years, I was able to package my passion into a business. And so think about the things that you really, really like, and they don't have to be big. They don't have to be awesome to you or to others, but um, there's something about you that's unique that you do or that you do differently that could translate into a business. Maybe you're a really great organizer. Like there's a lady named the Clutterologist. She's moved to Florida, but that her website's clutterologist.com. And I don't remember how I found her, but she was here in Atlanta, and I hired her. She was doing like a New Year's special, and for $99, she comes to your house, and that $100 was like the best $100 that I spent because she came in and totally reorganized my kitchen. And it was like in a way that I would have never figured it out. Like she pulled everything out the pantry. She moved everything. She went in, she had these little baskets. So she put all my rice, all my pasta, like, those little bags, you got a half a bag of pasta here, half a bag of rice. So she bought like this little container. So she put all the little things in there. She reorganized my whole kitchen, and then she just moved things around in my house, like showed me like ideas and ways to get rid of mail and paper. And that's her business. That's her career. And she was just super sweet. Like, I was so busy at the time, but I just really enjoyed talking to her. So she has this dope personality, this dope business, and it seems so simple. Like somebody who will come and show you how to have a more effective kitchen organization. But it was priceless. Like, I would have probably paid double or triple for it. So, it's not that big of a thing. So think about some of the small things that maybe you can do. Alrighty, question number 4. Hi, Myleek. Hello. During your previous jobs, did you ever find yourself dreading work the next day? I currently have a job that's ideal for my career growth, but for every new job I get without fail, I start to hate the thought of going back each day. How do I cope until I find better? Oh my God, my refrigerator is like in the background making ice. I guess it's so annoying. I'm sorry. So you have a job that's ideal for your career growth, but you don't like going there. Do you like the career that you've chosen? Because when you get to this mysterious or the top place of your job, of your career, if you don't like going in, then maybe it's not the right career for you, because that kind of stuff probably won't change. So maybe it's a time to think about how you want to do your career. Is it something that you can do as a consultant, independent? Maybe if you're doing PR, because that's what I know, because that's what I did. There are several ways that you can look at it. You can go in-house and be the PR rep for a big company. So say like DKNY or Macy's, you would be working on that PR team. Or you can go to an agency, and an agency is a little bit different because it's not just one single company. It's various clients, so you would work on various initiatives. So maybe you're not a solid company person. Maybe you're more agency, and so I think that those are the kinds of things that you have to think about. I don't. How you cope is you just kind of deal with it. Life is like ups and downs, and careers are up and down, and you're not always going to love what you're doing. Sometimes you just got to suck it up. But as long as you are looking to find better, just going in every day knowing that this is not it for you. You ever go to work and you see some people and like this is it for them. I've gone to some jobs and I'm like, I know this is not it for me. So while I may not love it here, this is not the end for me. So I'm not really going to be too worried. So suck it up, keep looking, keep going out, meeting different people in your field to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Alrighty, question number 5. Hey, Myleek, I am African American on a new job that's mostly white, and I got my hair in Marley twist last week, and I've got a lot of comments, questions, and sidebar combos about my hair. I'm tempted to hand out business cards to the braid shop just because I know they are being messy. Help me, I'm annoyed. I've had a couple of work situations where I was the only black girl and I would get the questions about my hair. And I just, there's just a way that you can kind of shrug those things off or, not feel obligated to entertain that stuff. Like, and there's a way to nicely do it. It's like I've learned over the years that people don't really, when it comes to us as women of color, at times don't understand or don't know about boundaries, don't know if there are any boundaries. And so it's up to you to just set the boundaries and set the comfort like of what you want to do. So thank you is always the best way to do it. Hey, your hair is different. Thanks. Yeah. That's it. Like, so what is that? I just got a new hairstyle. You don't have to get into you don't have to explain anything about your hair or what you're doing to anybody. And so thank you so much. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I got a different hairstyle. Yeah, I changed my hair a lot. Yeah, the end. It's like whatever. If people have time to focus on your hair, they're not focusing on their work, and that's a problem. And so I really, I'd love to be able to talk more about my hair, but I'm actually got to head back to my desk because I've got a report that I'm working on. Play it cool. You don't have to. I wouldn't worry about that. Don't trip. Number 6, Myleik, how do you deal with losing all of your childhood friends and feeling completely lonely? It gets lonely at the top when no one wants to deal with you anymore. That's always tricky because people who say it gets lonely at the top, I'm just kind of like, well, it's not that lonely if you work on some relationships or maintain relationships or meet other people at the top or get off your island. Like, I think you have to focus on doing that. Childhood friends, I have some, I don't have all of them. Everybody grows differently at different times, but loneliness, I've said this. One time my dad asked me if I get lonely because I met up with him in a city and he was with his girlfriend and I was by myself, and I've met up with him a bunch of times by myself, and he's just always like, do you ever get lonely? And I was like, yeah, but this is the life I chose. Like, I've chosen the kind of life that requires a lot of business travel, and sometimes I need to just jet out for like a day or two, and I really don't even need anybody with me, and it's kind of pointless. And so I'll get out here. I'm not afraid to get out in this world and get what I need to get done by myself. And sometimes it gets lonely, but I'll talk to my friends. I'll call them. I just talked to my girlfriend this morning who's hopping on a plane. She works for TNT, and it's NBA Finals, so she's going from the Bay to Cleveland, back and forth until it's over. And so we keep up with each other. I got a friend who was here, moved out to LA. I keep up with my friends, but sometimes it's just me, and it's okay. So keep up with your friends if you don't want to be lonely. It's not lonely at the top. I don't know what number this is, but you get it. It's, I think, 7. I'm starting up a side business as a project consultant this summer, but I don't have a physical office and cannot afford one yet. I would like to start networking sooner rather than later. Is it unprofessional to create a business card without having a brick and mortar address listed on it? So few people have brick and mortar addresses these days. Like, we are living in a digital age. I have a brick and mortar address, and I do not ever put my brick and mortar address on my business cards because it's not necessary. Like, if you need to come visit me in my office, you will be able to do so by sending an email. I don't even have the phone number on there because if you got to just manage some of this stuff. So you don't have to have the phone number. You don't have to have the brick and mortar. I only have my name, my company, my name, my title, and my email. That's how I get down. So and I think I'm pretty professional. Next question. What are your thoughts on starting a business with friends? A girlfriend of mine is starting a new consulting business and would like to bring me on board as one of her consultants. Sound like a great opportunity, but I don't want our relationship to suffer. Thoughts? This one is tough because I think, like, I worked with, like, my very best friend on his business, and it was awesome. Like, we worked together, but we had different strengths. We weren't doing the same thing, and I understood that it was his company, not mine. And it was all good until I started another company, for myself. And so we worked together. We worked on his brand, and it was awesome. And working on his brand helped me come up with an idea for another brand. But I would say I think it's cool to work with friends, but I don't know that I would start a business with a friend, because starting a business, when I worked with my friend who owned his company, I had a clear understanding that this is his company and whatever he wants to happen is what's going to happen. I didn't, you don't go back and forth. When you have a business partner, you got to kind of go back and forth and agree on ideas. But working with a friend, I knew that his answer was the final answer. So there's no argument. So as long as you understand that, and it sounds like your girlfriend is starting the business, so she's going to kind of be in charge of what's happening. So as long as you're fine with that, that's that. Those are my thoughts. Next question. No one really prepares you for the psychological aspect of starting a business. Uh, and I don't know if it's up to people to do that. It can get so lonely when you're putting your all into something that your friends can't relate to. Did you go through this? Any tips? I have long been one of those sort of like deep divers when it comes to business. And what I mean by deep dive is like when I get into something or when I get focused on something, I am like super focused. Like my friends always crack up like, Jesus, like I always go, I think it's time for me to get more focused. Like, is it possible for you to get any more focused? And when I'm really focused, which is kind of the mode that I'm in now, no, I don't really go out that much. Like, I don't really go out to like clubs and bars and parties and stuff purely because it's just not my thing. I did when I was younger. In my 20s, I would tear the club up. But now I'm usually tired or I just have different interests. But I think my friends respect me and understand the kind of person I am, and whether or not they can relate to what I'm doing, they respect what I'm doing. And so I think that, having some cool friends, they get it. And the people that don't, they just kind of fall off. And I think that like that's what I'm learning that life is like. You kind of go through these different friend cycles, and I have a couple friends that have been with me from the beginning to end. I got some friends that were, for the first part of my life, and I got some new friends that I'm meeting this go around. And like meeting new friends is so cool. Like one of the guy that does all of our video stuff. I met him 2.5 years ago when we were just trying to find a person that can help us do some of our like digital online, just Curlbox TV stuff we wanted to do. And I told him that like, I'm the kind of person that once I meet you and work with you, I likely won't go out and look for somebody better as long as we get along. But since I've started working with him, and then I've met his wife, she worked on the first shoot, and then they got pregnant, and then they have a baby, and the baby's turning 1 this July. And so they've become friends of mine. We still work together, and they've become friends of mine just on this journey. And so the friends kind of change, and they look different than any of my friends. He's Cuban, she's Korean, and Chloe's Cuban Korean. And I go to their house, they make Cuban food. Like, it's just cool. So you meet just different people, and the friends change and start to look different. And couple friends or non-couple friends, you're friends with kids, whatever, neighbors. I'm cool with my neighbors here. I'm moving soon. I'm sure I'll make different neighbors. People at the gym. Just your friend circles change and change. Second to last question, which I'm guessing is probably number 9, but I may have added some extra ones on here. Due to an array of different obstacles from financial to family situations, I was unable to finish my college degree. However, I work at a prestigious fashion publication in an entry-level position. This is my dream job, but I worry that I should continue or finish school. Any advice, feedback? What are you worried for? Stop worrying, for starters. What do they say? A worry is a down payment on a problem that may never happen, or something, the saying. But like, you don't have anything to be worried about. Even with your degree, you probably still would have been in an entry level position there. And so, if missing some parts of the degree will keep you, like I don't know what direction you want to go in at this publication, but I don't know that you have to finish school to grow there. You got to hustle and work your butt off and continue to educate yourself in the field, and so you do that by relationships. So if you have an entry-level position and you can meet all these people, I would take time. I would meet with people in my office. I would try to grab drinks after work with people in my office. I would try to get out and meet like designers and different stylists and other assistants at other fashion publications. Your network is how you're gonna blow up in this. And if there's something that you're missing, like writing, I don't know because I'm not a writer and I don't know what kind of position you have there, what kind of editor type deal. But ask, like ask somebody, hey, go to HR or ask another person. There's got to be somebody there that doesn't have their degree, or maybe there isn't. And so ask around. Alrighty, my last question. I've been at my job for a long time, and the disrespect is really starting to get to me. I feel like it's too late to speak up for myself because I've never complained and I might lose my job. Any advice? This is about dignity, and it's never too late for you to speak up for yourself. And a fear of losing your job, I understand it's a real fear. Like that should never stop you from insisting that people respect you. If people can't respect you at your job, you don't need to be there. It's like if you can't, if it's like that's the least of your worries, And so it's like I hope that you stand up for yourself and you say something. And being a person that never complains is not good all the time because it's especially if people are walking all over you, and there's a way to just stop people. You have to stop people from disrespecting you, and you have to do it quickly, really quickly, and nip it in the bud because people will stop. People will try you, and you just kind of stop them and let them know what you're up for and what you're not. I've done it before. Like I've had some situations where I'm young, or in this business, I'm definitely young. Not even just young in age, but just young in the game. And so every so often you run up against some veterans, some seasoned professionals who feel like they need to put you in your place or whatever. And it's just like, I'm always like, listen, Linda, listen, I'm not here for it. It's like, I'm not here for people disrespecting me because I haven't disrespected you. I understand you've been doing this for months and Sundays, but I'm doing it today. And this is what I need, or this is how I do it, or this is why you called me. So let's focus on that and let's not get into, the emotional part of this. And you just you say it like that. Or sometimes I've even gone and said, you know what? This is becoming so difficult that it's affecting my work. And I really want to focus on doing good work. So how can we kind of like minimize some of the tension and drama so we can get this work done? Simple, easy. So good luck to you. Thank you all for the questions. mytachi.com. You know what to do. Journals, mugs, so on, so on. Hit me up on my website. Ask me anything. And I hope you guys have a good one. Bye.